about 2 minutes. Got to make sure that all of our technology is working because, of course, today I am not working on my own computer. We're working on Stephanie's because I could not get the new computer up and running. And this was the easiest way to go. It is what it is, right? It's Monday. It's a good start. We're gonna have a great day today. Let's see. So I'm still fussing with Stephanie's computer here. Let's see if I can get my chat up and running. And how's everybody doing out there? Say hi if you are checking in on Facebook. We're going to do two things today. We'll talk about that in a minute. I don't think the chat window was working the other day when we were on live. So I'm going to depend on, oh, Miss Asia and Stephanie's going to, when we're doing the interview, Miss Asia, you're going to be over here. Okay, so we have sound. So we do have a sound. Sound check is happening. This is good. Exciting stuff. So what has happened? So before we get started, we're going to officially start in a couple minutes. So I'm just going to talk about what has happened in the last 4 days since I've been here. 5 daes? How long have I been here? 5 days. I know it's been a year and a half since I've been here, says Asia. I have a studio audience today. Oh my gosh, what the heck, right? There's actually 2 people in the room, but yet I still feel like I'm talking to myself. But anyway, so been here since last week. Some of you may have heard it was sort of like really sort of crazy. So let's talk about the toe for half a second. So I was given this stuff called Aran Care. Is that right? Arnica gel. Never heard of it. By the way, I left it behind. And so to put on my toe that I thought I might have broken. And I can't believe it, but it's like no bruising. It totally took the bruising away. My toe's doing pretty well. I can't say I can go jogging yet, but I'm definitely going hiking today. I'm going to go to Moab with Miss Asia, and pretty excited that. So that was the update on the toe. The computer, thank goodness, we were able to recover the hard drive. Woohoo! The machine itself, well, that's a different story. We're not going to talk about that, but we were able to acquire another machine and got all of the information over. So life lesson, back up, back up, back up. Back up your hard drive, especially before you go on a trip. Do not just assume it's all going to be there forever. So I know. And what's really crazy is I literally had the thought the day that I was getting on the airplane, 9 o'clock in the morning, I turned on my laptop and went, I should probably back this up, huh? And decided that I would do it after the trip. You see how that worked out for me? About 24 hours of incredible stress of the fact that I might have lost my everything. It's like everything. Come on, all my pictures from India, all of our trip pictures, and then all the work I've done for VEC and Oh, geez, I was gonna cry. Anyway, but we made it and we're here and it's great. So I'm pretty excited. So here we are. Okay, it's 1 o'clock, just past 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's 11 o'clock out here mountain in Utah. Yep, I'm live from Utah, and hopefully, if no, Twitch should. I see here, is Twitch working? No, Twitch should be working. Hold on, I'm going to double check that really quick. Let's see. Let's go back here. According to this, Twitch is working. So maybe refresh on Twitch if you're not seeing us on Twitch. Andy's out there, and of course I have Stephanie here helping along with chats and whatnot. So if you have questions, so it's so what we're doing today is a little bit different from what our schedule has been because of what has happened last week. So step-by-step surprise boxes. We're going to go ahead and finish that now, and then at the end of this, we're going to stop for about 30 seconds, and we're going to come back on, and we're going to do a studio tour of this fantastic studio that I am in. So okay, let's get started. Right? Yeah, I think I got everything going on here. I think everything is okay. You've refreshed and nothing is happening. Hey, Andy, I know you're watching this. Can you take a look at Twitch and see what's going on and maybe message Stephanie? And okay, so he refreshed and still nothing. Hold on, I'm going to check on technology for just a second here. I'm going to turn it on and off and see if I can get that to happen. But that is the best I can do is to just sort of try to restart that. Okay, so I turned it on and off. It's showing that it's happening up there on my end, okay? So anyway, step-by-step boxes. Since last week, well, a week and a half ago, what we made these little, wait, who's got the zoomer? I do. Okay. New technology. I'm using Stephanie's cameras, of course, because I'm in her studio. So last week, or a week and a half ago, we made these little boxes. So it was up to you whether you were making squares, rounds, or ovals. I went ahead and made squares and ovals because I thought those, I particularly like the ovals, but anyway. So you should have made those. You should have drilled through. So because we're going to be stringing them all to make a bracelet. Okay. And then, today, I'm going to go ahead and make a toggle to finish off the bracelet, and we're going to show you how to put them all together. All right. Let's zoom back out. So you should have the tools that you need for today. Is you're going to need a heavy duty cutter because that wire that I provided was really, really heavy. And oh, if you have not done a step-by-step surprise before, for those of you who are following along, we don't we don't give you all the details. You have to buy the kit to get all the details. I'm just giving out the instructions. So if you can figure out what it is that we're doing, that's great. You'll need also a chasing hammer, a mandrel of some sort. I'm going to go ahead and use a ring mandrel today, a leather mallet. You know, again, I'm out of my studio, so I don't have all of my tools, but I'm going to see if I can make this little riveting hammer work. Something that's a little bit smaller is going to be really, really helpful today. And a file, and of course, a soldering setup. So copper solder is going to be your friend today because we're doing a copper toggle, okay? Because this wire is so heavy, I'm going to go ahead and anneal this wire first. It'll make life a lot easier if you start with annealing. By the way, this is the second to last step-by-step project that we have. There's only one left, and that's called Locked. It's still available, and I don't even know when we're going to do it. It's going to be in the next few weeks. And we'll go from there, or maybe even next week. What are we doing next Wednesday? I don't know. I can never keep up with the schedule. I know, it's way too much. Okay. So make sure you give it a good quench. This is really heavy wire, so just dipping it in and hearing it sizzle is not necessarily enough, so be careful, especially if you have been heating this for a while. So look, it's nice and soft now. Let's zoom in just a little bit so you can see. Okay. Get that out of the way. So I'm just going to bend this around the ring mandrel and make it pretty small. And it's up to you what shape you want to do, what shape you want to make for your toggle. So I'm going to bend that around like so. Stephanie doesn't have any wedges like I do. And after this weekend, I showed her how to make them. So hopefully next time she'll have them because they're really cool and they're really great. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Smaller again. And actually, I think I want this even smaller. You know, can I get a ruler? I forgot. And you know what's also really great about coming to Stephanie's studio is I officially have an assistant now who I can say, hey, can you get me a ruler? And she goes across the room and gets me a ruler. She is officially making me into a diva. It's like totally crazy. No, I don't want to hear any commentary on that though. Let's not go there. Okay. Volume keeps cutting out. What do you, I don't know. Does it cut out? Do you think it's cutting out every time I'm hammering? Maybe that's the case. I'm also on a different mic altogether. Never used this before until this weekend. Did not get any complaints over the weekend. So I just annealed that because I want to make this a little bit smaller, and I'm just squeezing it down. No book. What do you mean, Pam, by no book? Okay, so we're going to cut that. So I made this a fairly small loop. Let's see how big this is. It's about 5/8. Okay. And we'll use our heavy duty cutters to trim it. And of course, you want to make sure that your ends are nice and flush for soldering. Okay, so thanks for the sound check out there. I really appreciate it. So I'm just going to file that end just a little bit for soldering. You want it really, really nice and flush. And we're going to move this back just like a jump ring. And notice how I'm moving that past itself and pulling it back to create some tension. Okay. Oh. I forgot about that. That's a really good idea about the the phone book. I totally forgot about that. I'm just going to push that down a little bit. Now, when you make this ring, you want it to be really nice and even on both sides and, of course, across the top, just like so. The tighter you make this, the better it will be. It'll make a nicer joint. Okay. I know I'm being a little particular right now. I'm going to get that a little bit nicer. Because when I'm doing copper soldering, I really want the joints to be perfect, because with the copper solder, it's a little bit on the pewter color side until it patinas. So you want to keep that as tight as possible. Okay, there we are. Take out some solder. Teeny little bit, just like so. And I'm going to put this on the inside because I want to keep this really, really neat. It's copper, so you don't have to heat the whole thing. I'm just going to heat it right there until it solders. Done deal. Let's quench that. And I'm going to throw it right into the pickle. So, okay, so let's make the toggle bar. So you want to make sure that the toggle bar is approximately 50% larger, if not double, to what your toggle is going to be. So we'll trim that at about there. And I'm going to trim both sides. And we're going to file that. If you feel like you need a little bit of sanding, go ahead and sand those ends, because you're going to wear it and you want it nice. So I'm going to make a little bit of a rounded end on that, just because it's a nicer look, because it's a toggle bar. Okay, but you do you. And if you want to, you can definitely draw a ball on the end of this. But frankly, given how heavy this gauge wire is, and it's copper, and we're using butane, we don't have time to sit here to watch paint dry. It's like that. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it on here. Let's find the center, and we're going to go ahead and just hammer down the center, just about 1/8 of an inch of it, no more than 1/4, and we're just going to hammer it flat to about half the thickness. If you want to, you can use, thank you. If you want to, you can use the back end of your chasing hammer, but be really careful. Okay, so you see that? It's about there. I'd like to go a little bit thinner and a little bit more consistent here. It's a completely different toggle bar. I mean, you don't have to do it this way. You're going to see where I'm going with it in just a second here. But if you wanted to, you can go ahead and solder a jump ring on there. Okay, so we'll take out our center punch. I'm going to use an automatic center punch today. So, what's interesting to me when I go to other people's studio is the equipment they like to keep is different than the equipment I like to keep. And I learn different things. And, you know, I think that's what's really great about learning from different people is you pick up all these little tips and ways of doing things because really there's so many ways to do the same thing. And maybe you'll find that their way is better than yours. So here's my toggle, and this is how it's going to go. You can leave this round or you can make it oval. If you have a bow opening plier, which Stephanie doesn't have, and she's learning, she might need one. By the way, you can get it at theirwinbeater.com. It's just really, it was so funny. So this weekend, how many people said to me, huh? What's a bow opening plier? Well, well, well. So if you had a bow opening plier, what happens is when you squeeze it, it actually opens instead of having to pry it apart like this. But if you wanted to make this in an oval, a bow opening plier would be so much easier than to do it how I'm about to do it with a pair of pliers. Is here, I'm going to have to pull this apart instead of squeezing if I wanted instead of squeezing to pull it apart. And it makes it also really, really consistent. So here we're just going to make a little oval, again, because I can. And see, not so consistent, but that's okay. I'm going to help myself and see if I can get that to be a little bit more ovally. As you can see, there it is. So I'm going to switch cameras and be right back. You'll be looking at the back because she has, how many cameras do we have here? 1, 2, 4 cameras here and one over her other workbench. We're going to go ahead and drill a hole with that drill bit that you received. Okay. Are we on?
No, switch to 2.
Oh, that's right. You can't switch because I have it. Oops. And that's my laptop. Let's just move that out. Okay, so here I have the toggle bar. I also have the drill bit already in my flex shaft. You can definitely do this with a pin vise if you if you don't have a flex shaft, you can definitely use a pin vise. So see my assistant running to get a little cut loop. How cool is that? All right, let me lower this chair just a bit. So you want to go ahead and use a little bit of cut loop, and then we're going to drill this right where you had that center punch. It should be that easy. So we have a hole there. And then while we're here, we're going to go ahead and drill out those little beads that you received. They're not exactly big enough for the gauge wire that we had. Little did I know when I picked those beads, but we're just going to head and drill it in just like so and open that up. You can also do this with a reamer if you have a reamer. Okay? Another thing I need to buy. So this has become a very costly trip here to Stephanie's studio because I found all kinds of things I'm going to need to buy for my studio because I just love some of the stuff that she has here. It's going to make my life nicer. Okay, so let's switch over. And we're back to this camera. Okay, so we're actually almost done. So now we can start assembling our bracelet. Okay, so here I've already started assembling my bracelet and I'm alternating my links. So the next one, we're going to go ahead and add we're going to add a box, a square one. Okay, you'll need some round nose pliers and some chain nose pliers, and we're going to make a wrapped loop, but it's sort of like doing a rosary chain, right? So we're going to make a loop just like so. You see that? Actually, I'm going to do it like this so you can see a little bit better. Okay. So there's my wrapped loop, and tighten this up just a little bit more. Okay. Oops. Can we get any tighter? There we go. Okay. So I just made a loop with my round nose pliers, and then at the very last one, I'm going to go ahead and swing this right in there, in between that loop, you can see. And then with your chain nose, hang on to that loop. And then with another pair of pliers, we're just going to wrap this around. And you'll trim off the tail if need be. But if you have a really tight loop like I do, you probably won't have anything to trim off. Actually, I'm going to do a teeny weeny bit of trimming right here. Just like so. Okay. So now we'll put in our box. Oops. It's a little kinky. This is probably the hardest part, is trying to string through a hollow form to get to the other side. And of course, now that I'm doing it live, I had no problems doing this. Ooh, lucky me, I got it in. I had no problems doing this when I was actually doing it for myself. Okay, and then on the other side, you can go ahead and trim this if you want, but remember, sorry, that's my phone. Did not turn off my phone. I like to leave my wire with the tail because there's a lot less waste instead of trimming it off, because you never trim it perfectly. So at about 1/4 inch above my bead, I'm making a loop like so. And then again, grabbing with my chain nose, I'm going to hold it in the other hand and wrap this around. 1, whoops, 2 times. There we go. Okay. We'll trim that off, and then we'll add the beaded link. And if your tail, I don't know if you can see that, but if you have a little tail of wire in there that's sticking out, tuck it in. Just like so. All right, so we'll do it again. We'll just make another wrap loop. Again, if you have any questions, do throw them out there. If you're working along or have been working on this, if you had any problems with the project, you can definitely ask the questions now, or you can reach out to me at any time. Well, I say that. We're going hiking for the next couple days, and I'll be on the plane, so I'll respond to you in about 4 days at this point. Okay, so here we are once again. Grab that loop, grab another pair of pliers, and wrap that around. Just like so. Okay, and then we're going to snip that off, and we'll add our next section. So the next section, again, I'm alternating back and forth between the boxes and the beads. Okay, so I'm going to put in 1 silver bead, just like that. Let's move out just a little bit, a little too tight there. And then I have these little vermeil chips. By the way, in the kit, these are not just plain old plated gold chips. These are vermeil. So what is the difference between plated and vermeil? Although vermeil really is plated, it is 22 karat gold over silver. So don't go throwing the stuff away. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make a little bit more severe. If you notice, the chips have a little bit of a bend. It's like a Pringle, right? But I want this to be a little bit more dramatic. So I'm putting my chip into a pair of round nose pliers, and then I'm just going to grab the ends and just squeeze on it to make it more of a channel, like that. Can you see that? Oh. Oops. Like, no, you can't see that. Okay, actually you can see it here by how it bends versus this flat one. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of these, and I'm going to put the convex sides together. So we'll swing it in there, and we'll show you what that looks like in just a second. And I'm going to grab another bead that I've already drilled and bring it in. Okay, so you see what I mean by having the convex sides together. By doing it this way, instead of just stacking them the same together. There's no texture. It's just the same thing. It's just a thicker chip, right? So by doing it with the convex side coming together like that, it creates a little bit more texture and a little bit more drama. Okay, so from here, we're going to connect our toggles. So we will start with the loop. Make sure that you make a loop that is large enough to accommodate the thickness of this wire. You can also go ahead and close this and then add a jump ring if you prefer. But for me, this ensures that the jump ring will not open up and that the toggle is secure. So we're just going to do it like that. And then once again, we're going to come to this side and loop it around. Oops, missed. Ugh. Copper is so soft that it's fighting. So as you can see there, it's a wrapped loop. Snip that off, tuck in the tail if you need to, and straighten that out a little bit. There we go. Okay, tuck it in, done deal. And now we'll go to the other end. Okay, so now we'll go to the other end and do the other side. Sorry. Okay. Oops. So here I'm going to do that again with the beaded loop. You do not want to end with a box because it won't go through the toggle, and you need some of that slack to be able to do to be able to work the toggle. So I need to bend this a little bit more too. I'll do one more. And again, right over. There we go. You could do it with your hands, but I found it to be a lot easier to do it with your pliers. Use your tools. You have them. Okay. Make a loop. Add it on like before. Come on. So you're going to just keep working this way until you have the length that you need for your bracelet. Wrap it around once, twice, 3 times. You can also, instead of doing this really neat wrap, you can make it really organic and just wrap on top of itself if you want to. It's fun. You do you. Okay, let's put this in. Assuming I actually remembered to drill all these beads. I believe I did. Could have sworn I set them aside, but hey, everything has been sort of in disarray with this whole mess. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll do this last one. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to add our bar end of the toggle, the male end, okay? And we'll make a loop again. And I do want this loop to be sort of large because I want it to be able to move when I'm wearing it. So I want this to be a little tiny bit bigger. And like I mentioned, if you'd rather put a jump ring in there, you can. So we're going to put this in there, just like so. If you find that the shiny wire is annoying because everything else is patinaed, just heat patina the wire before you start working. Then it'll match everything. Okay, we're going to grab this loop and finish it off. We're just about done. That happened pretty quickly. Makes me happy working in somebody else's studio. I'm going to call this a success. Okay. There it is. There's my toggle. And we're going to slip it in here. And voila, we are done. That's our project for step-by-step surprise boxes. Okay, we'll do the studio tour in just a minute, but let's get some business out of the way. What's happening this week? I actually have no clue. Isn't it Memorial Day this week and Memorial Day weekend? Okay, so what's happening this week? So on Wednesday, Scott Mason is going to be our guest instructor, and he's going to do some fun stuff with the flex shaft. And we will not be Zooming, and we're taking the day off this weekend because it is Memorial Day weekend. And I'm actually going to go ahead and take the weekend off and recover from this wonderful trip to Utah. And then we'll be back the following Wednesday. Again, no clue what we're doing, but do check the Q Talk website, the Facebook page, the Q Talk Facebook page, and the schedule will be there for you to anticipate what's going on the next few weeks. So we'll be back to normal sometime next week. And that's pretty much it for here. Again, I'm going to call this a success. Hang out for me. I'm going to end this video and I'm going to start it up in about 30 seconds. And we're going to do a studio tour because you need to see the studio. Oh my gosh. You can already see, look at this lighting. It's amazing. We already started with that. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for liking and watching our videos. We need all those little algorithms to make this work and continuing your support here. So have a great day.